About half of American adults have now used an AI chatbot, and almost none of them could explain how one works. Here's the part nobody says out loud. That's completely fine, and the people telling you otherwise are usually selling something. This is AI for Normal People, a series for smart adults who don't work in tech and don't want to. No jargon, no hype, no homework. In this first episode, the permission slip. Why I don't really understand AI is not a reason to avoid it, what the 3 things you actually do need to know are, and why you, specifically the non-technical you, might be better positioned to use this stuff than the engineers who built it. Start with an inventory of your morning. You drove a car without being able to explain a combustion engine. You took a pill without knowing its chemistry. You used a microwave, a credit card, an elevator. Each one a technology you operate fluently and could not build or explain under oath. Nobody considers this a character flaw. It's how modern life works. We operate on interfaces, the steering wheel, the keypad, the button, and leave the internals to specialists. Somehow, AI got exempted from this rule. There's a widespread feeling that this technology uniquely must be understood before it may be touched. That you need to grasp the machinery, learn the vocabulary, take a course, get up to speed. 50 years of technology says otherwise. When personal computers arrived, the people who benefited weren't the ones who understood processors. They were the ones who learned which buttons produced which results. When the web arrived, your ability to use it never depended on knowing how it worked. The interface for AI, it turns out, is the friendliest one ever shipped. An empty text box that speaks plain English. You describe what you want in your own words the way you'd ask a person. That's the entire user manual. The irony of the "you must understand it first" era is that this is the first technology where describing what you want is the skill. So why do you feel behind? Because feeling behind is profitable. Follow the incentives for a minute. The people loudly insisting you must understand AI or get left behind are, overwhelmingly, people selling the cure. Courses, newsletters, certifications, consulting. Fear of falling behind is the sales funnel. We did a whole video on this channel, fact-checking one corner of that industry, and the pattern repeats everywhere. Add the tech press, which runs on drama, and social media, where every post about AI is either "this changes everything" or "this will ruin everything," and you get a manufactured atmosphere where a reasonable adult concludes, "This is too big and too complicated, I'll wait." Meanwhile, notice the numbers we open with. Pew Research found this year that about half of US adults now use AI chatbots, up sharply in 2 years. And only about a quarter use one daily, which means the real picture isn't everyone gets it but you. Most people are exactly where you are. They've poked at it or haven't started, and the confident insiders are a small minority with a loud megaphone. You're not behind, you're in the majority, being shouted at by an industry with something to sell you. Before the practical part, a quick amnesty on jargon, because the vocabulary is half of what makes this feel like a members-only club, and almost none of it is required at the door. LLM, large language model, is just the technical name for the software behind the chat box. You will never need to say it. Prompt is a $5 word for the thing you typed. An entire cottage industry sells prompt engineering courses. You now know the translation, and it's asking clearly, a skill you already own. Tokens are the chunks of text the machine reads. A billing detail for programmers, irrelevant to you. A GI is an argument tech people have about the future. It has no bearing on whether the chatbot can fix your cover letter today. When a term actually matters for normal use, and a couple genuinely do, this series will stop and translate it on the spot. That's a standing promise. Here's the useful rule. Any explanation that can't survive without jargon is either for specialists, fine, not for you, or it's engineered to make the explainer look smart and you feel behind. You don't stay out of the conversation because you miss the vocabulary. Most of the vocabulary exists so somebody could charge admission to the conversation. Let's replace the imagined version, dashboards, settings, technical prompts, with the real one. 3 scenes from an ordinary week. Scene 1. A letter arrives about a change to your insurance. You photograph it, add it to the chat, and type, "Explain this in plain English. What changed and does anything need doing?" 30 seconds later, you have a summary, and you ask the follow-up you'd never bother a professional with, "Is that normal?" Scene 2. You need to email your landlord about a repair, firmly but not rudely. You type the situation the way you'd vent to a friend, run-on sentences, typos, all of it, and add, "Write this as a polite but firm email." A minute of editing later, sent. The blank page never happened. Scene 3. Planning a trip, a menu for guests with 2 food allergies, a budget. You describe the mess. "Here's my situation, dates, constraints, budget. Give me options." Notice what those 3 scenes have in common. No technical language, no correct way to phrase anything, no setup. You type like a person to something that reads like a person. The only skill on display was knowing what you wanted and being willing to say it messily. And if the answer misses, you do exactly what you do with a person. Say so in plain words. Shorter, too formal. You ignored the part about the deposit. It adjusts without sulking as many times as you like. There is no error message to decode and no wrong button to fear. The worst outcome available is a mediocre paragraph you ignore. Very few technologies in your lifetime have had a failure mode that gentle. Now, the honest part, you don't need to know how it works, but there are 3 things about how it behaves that you genuinely need. The way you need microwaves and metal don't mix without needing physics. 1. It makes things up, confidently. Ask an AI for facts, names, numbers, citations, and it will sometimes produce plausible, fluent, wrong answers, delivered in the same confident tone as its right ones. This isn't lying, and it isn't a bug being fixed next month. It's a side effect of how the technology generates language. Rule of thumb, use it to explain, draft, and organize, and independently double-check any specific fact you'd act on. Later in this series, we'll see exactly why this happens. For now, just know that it does. 2. Assume it knows nothing about you unless you tell it. It hasn't read your inbox. It doesn't know your job, your city, or what you asked last month unless it's in the conversation. So the difference between a useless answer and a great one is usually context you provide. "I'm a teacher in Ohio. Budget is $400. Here's the situation." Beats a bare question every time. When an answer disappoints, the fix is almost always to say more, not to give up. 3. It's a draft machine, and you're the editor. Everything it produces is a first draft for your judgment. Not a verdict, not a final answer. Treat it like a bright, endlessly patient assistant who's read everything and personally verified nothing. You wouldn't let an intern send an important email unread. Same rule. This one habit, review before you rely, replaces 90% of what the AI literacy industry wants to sell you. That's the entire required curriculum. It fits on an index card. Here's the twist that deserves more attention. The core skill of using AI well is 1. Non-technical adults are often better at than engineers. The skill is delegation, describing an outcome clearly, providing the relevant background, reviewing work, and giving specific feedback. Shorter, warmer, mention the deadline. If you've ever managed anyone, trained a new hire, briefed a contractor, taught a class, or written instructions for a house sitter, you have practiced the exact skill this technology rewards. It's not a technical skill. It never was. It's knowing what you want and communicating it, then judging the result. That's also why learning AI from courses so often disappoints. They teach the machinery and magic phrasings, when the actual leverage is on your side of the text box. A person with 30 years of life experience, clear needs, and good judgment about results is not behind in this transition. In the way that actually matters, they're ahead. They have more real problems worth delegating and better instincts for when an answer smells wrong. One more thing, because this series will always level with you. That same Pew Research found trust has not kept up with adoption. Most Americans are uneasy about how fast this is moving. If that's you, good, keep it. You don't have to decide AI is wonderful to use it, any more than you had to love the internet to use email. Wariness about big questions, jobs, privacy, what's true online, is compatible with letting a chatbot decode your insurance letter. In fact, the skeptics make the best users, because they review before they rely. Don't put in what you wouldn't want a stranger reading. Verify what matters. Stay unimpressed by confidence. That's not falling behind. That's exactly the posture this series recommends. Hands on the tool, eyebrow raised. So here's the whole episode in 3 sentences. You don't need to understand AI to use it. You've never needed to understand any technology to use it. And this one runs on plain English. The 3 behaviors that matter fit on an index card. It makes things up, it doesn't know you until you tell it, and you're the editor. And the skill it rewards, knowing what you want and judging what you get, is one you've been practicing your whole adult life. This week, if you want, try 1 stakes-free chore, 1 confusing letter, 1 awkward email, 1 plan you've been putting off. Type it the way you'd say it. That's the entire assignment. Next episode, we take on the biggest question normal people actually have about all this. What AI really means for your job, without the hype, without the horror stories, with actual numbers. You don't have to keep up with AI. You just have to know what it's good for. That's what this series is for. See you in the next one.